today to share with you guys sort of a mini house tour, mini before and after, a Renos update on what we've been working on the house, because we've been doing a lot of reno projects basically since we moved in, and so I'm really excited to kind of sit down with you guys finally and kind of share what we've been working on. I have a bunch of videos that I am excited to share with you guys, including sort of before and afters of the kids' rooms, and we're gonna be doing like my closet and like a mudroom toy organization, all of these other videos that we are working on currently for you guys. I am so excited to share them with you. And give this video a thumbs up if you're excited about all the home decor kind of project videos that we are going to be sharing with you guys shortly. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gives you some ideas for any reno projects you may be going through. And without further ado, let's get into this. So basically, let's recap it, rewind like 3 or 4 years when we moved into our first house. And when we moved in, the people who had lived in the house before us had done a lot of renovations to the house, and it was beautiful, and we really didn't know where to start. There were a couple of little things that didn't really work with my taste, so like I wanted to change like the paint colors, and I wanted to reno the kitchen, like a bunch of things, but we didn't really know where to start, and we'd never done like anything like this before. So Chris and I were sort of like what do we spend our money on? Where do we invest? Where do we save? Like all of these questions were going on, and so we kind of just like put it on the back burner, and we're like, well, we'll do it all later. So we're waiting. 3 years later, bam, we find the house that we are currently living in, and we move. So we did a whole bunch of little reno projects right before we moved to kind of get it ready to sell. And I was like, why didn't we do this when we moved in? So this time we set aside a budget for renovation work and things that we wanted to change right from the get-go once we kind of settled into our new house, so we could enjoy the work we had put into it. And now, a year and a bit later, we are here and we've done some renovation work, so now I kind of want to jump in and get you guys caught up. Now, the first project that we did was get rid of the popcorn ceiling. Popcorn ceiling is that sort of like stuccoed kind of effect on the ceilings. It was very popular in the 80s and I think the 90s as well, and it's very commonplace in a lot of homes. We had a window of like a couple of days, so we had our painter, who also can scrape the ceilings and do all that. He came in on one of those days, scraped everything, painted over everything. We had like, then we had a team come in to like clean the house, and then we moved in. It was chaotic, but I'm so glad that we did that, and I'm really happy with the results. As I'm looking up in the ceiling, look how nice it is. I think they did an amazing job, and I'm really happy that we went with that. Next up is the fireplace, and because it's sort of what you see when you walk into the space, because we have a very open concept home, we wanted something to be a little bit more grand. We had a very standard fireplace. It was nice, it was functional, it was good. And so Chris and I were kind of going back and forth. Do we do tile? Do we do light, dark? Like what is this gonna look like? And then we came across this image of this fireplace that was done in wood looking tiles, and I was like, that's it, that's what we're doing. I love how it blends into our floors now, which I will get into in a minute. I love the big plank as a mantle, and we chose a bit of a smaller, more modern looking fireplace for the middle of it. So it just has this nice combination of everything, and I think it just really makes a statement. So now I just need to find something really big and impactful. So I'm thinking like something metallic, some sort of cool design to go on top of the fireplace. Right now we just have like pictures and vases and things like that, but that is kind of what it looks like now, and I am in love with it. So if I had any tips for going into a reno project like this, I would first recommend kind of having a vision, knowing what you want. Go on Houzz, on Pinterest, things like that, to find pictures of pieces that you like, and then go in as a team and like split up and like divide and conquer. Find samples of tiles that you both really like, bring them together and see if there are any similarities in the pile. If there are, great, bring those back home, see what they look like in different lighting, how they work with the paint colors you've chosen, things like that, until you've found the one that you really love. And for me, having that inspiration going into it was huge, and that was really important, because I can't visualize what it's gonna look like unless I see sort of something that's been done similar to what I want. And so like, you know, like, do you want a thick mantle? Do you want a thin mantle? Do you want the fireplace to be raised or right on the ground, a rectangular one, a big one, small? Like there's so many different things that go into this whole design process, and so that was really important for me from the very beginning. Next up is paint, and we were actually very happy with the paint color that the previous owners had chosen for the rest of the house, but I did want to change the color in the master bedroom, which is the color. You guys can't see it. There is no color behind me. Most neutral, basic white ever, and I'm in love with it. We also painted the guest room a beautiful blue, and then the 2 kids' room, which I will save because we're going to be doing full videos on each of their rooms later on. So stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. But those were basically the only paint projects that we did so far. Stay tuned, there will probably be more. My tips for painting is, first of all, get lots of paint chips. Lots and lots of paint chips. Tape them to the wall, tape them on different parts of the wall, see what they look like in different light, daylight, night, with you know, your lights on, things like that, just to get a sense of how the color is going to change or pick up on other accents that you have in the home. And then once you've narrowed it down to like 3 that you are really, really excited about, buy those little mini paint cans. They're like $3 or something, and bring those home and paint sections of the walls so you can see what it's actually going to dry down and look like. If you want to do it yourself, if you're more DIY, I highly recommend just doing the research in advance, knowing what products you need first before you get started, so you have everything in front of you so that you're not having to like run out and get stuff and kind of go back and forth. Talk to experts, like people at these hardware stores. They'll know approximately how much paint you're gonna need, what tools you're gonna need, things like that, and they'll probably have the resources in place to help you better. Now onto the floors, and what we had originally was we had tile in the front, and then the kitchen, and then the 2 rooms had like thin planked dark hardwood. And so that's what we had in our house, and it was fine. But what Lisa had recommended was to do hardwood throughout the entire home, just to create this nice cohesive look to the entire home and make it look more spacious and more open. So we brought home these like boards, these sample boards of how the hardwood would be laid out, and we set those in the home, throughout the home, just to kind of see what, again, it's going to look like. And then we narrowed it down to this particular one, and I love it. It's a little bit on the ashy side. It still has some warmth to it. It's a much wider plank, which I think is gorgeous. It's not too rustic, but it's not too clean, and it's more of a matte finish, so it's not going to show dust and dirt. And this one in particular is amazing. Like, even when it gets like little dents and stuff in it, and it doesn't do that often, but obviously like it's gonna dent and stuff over time, you don't see it at all. Like, you don't see any dust, you don't see any dirt. It's amazing. Now into the kitchen, and we wanted to change up the backsplash because they had originally put in this kind of speckled beige granite, and then the backsplash were these like thin tiles in multiple shades of beiges and browns, and it was just very cluttered and overwhelming to me. So I wanted to change it up and do something much more clean as the backsplash. And so we went with a very plain white tile, but instead of just laying it flat, we laid it in sort of a herringbone shape. I'm really glad that we went with the herringbone instead of a flat lay. It just adds this nice visual interest to the space without being overwhelming. It is more on the subtle side, which I really like, and just we're really, really happy with the way that it turned out. Herringbone is more work though, so make sure whoever you have to come in to do a backsplash, if you're looking to do something like that, make sure they have some experience in laying a herringbone and it's not like a chevron pattern, because there is a very subtle difference in how that is going to be laid out. So just keep that in mind, and it can be more expensive just because it's more time consuming to do that. And lastly, we wanted to change up some lighting pieces that we had in the home because we had a lot of the flush mount little lights and we wanted something a little bit more impactful. So we decided to go with an antiqued bronze, but in more clean, modern shapes. And these are the pieces that we ended up with, and I think they look beautiful. They really fit well within the space. I was surprised what a huge difference it made to the overall look and feel of the home. I think that the pieces we chose are beautiful, and I'm really excited about them. I love how they look in the space, and I'm excited to now change up the ones upstairs, because as I'm looking, there's one right there, which is it's a fan and it's very ugly. But yeah, those are all of the updates that we have done so far to the home, sort of since we've moved in, piecemeal here and there as we go. And I'm excited to continue the projects and the work and bring you guys along for the rest of it. So stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the before and afters of Luke and Julia's room transformations. Julia's in particular was a big transformation. They had bright neon green and blue on the walls. So those are no longer there. But I hope you guys liked this video. Give it a thumbs up if you want to see more content like this, more home tours before and afters. I'm going to be doing organization tips and tricks, decluttering like kitchen and kids organization, stuff like that. If you have any requests, leave them in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you guys. And that's everything. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful weekend so far, and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Love you girls. Mwah.